tell us about best version ever.
Okay, so I'm going to try to touch on your actual question of why yet another one, right? So I like to call it a personal development mixtape,
Okay.
or greatest hits. No, I mean, I realized when I was 30 years old that I was living a life that others expected of me, and not the life that I wanted to live. I went down the personal development rabbit hole, if you will. And in that process, I realized that there were a lot of people living this same life that others expected of them. And, they don't all necessarily know that there's another way. So, I went to events,
By the way,
seminars.
speaking, let's just address the elephant in the room. Speaking of
Yeah.
like your best version ever, I have a calendar reminder because of something that you taught me with those daily habits. You were using like the daily habit, Darren Hardy. And this is like, take my vitamins and floss my teeth because this is something I want to get in a better habit of doing every night. So this is like real time. That was the alarm that just went off. It said, go take your drugs and floss your teeth.
That's
Which is
amazing.
kind of embarrassing to admit, but that should be the only thing that goes off because I turn my phone on airplane mode, but not the alarms.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I mean, everybody wants to floss other than the 2 days a year that they see their dentist. So, I mean, I literally built the habit by having a piece of paper right here that said floss, and I would check it off every single day. And I mean, it must be 7 years now. No cavities. Don't even worry about that anymore. And it just became a habit. I digress. So I went to these events and seminars, right? And I realized that a lot of them are sales pitches and some dude on the stage just doing keynote speeches and really just trying to sell his book or his stuff, right? So then I would leave these events and I'd have all these journals, but they would have like notes in them, right? And they'd get thrown on a shelf and maybe I'd look at them and maybe I wouldn't. But I decided to design the event that I wanted to go to, which is, I've been doing it for 6 years now, and it's called Best Version Ever. And the whole event is making a plan to become your best version ever, and not just writing down inspirational notes, but actually creating a plan and then not leaving the event without taking that first step and taking those first actions, right? So after doing those for 5 or 6 years, it would have been last about a year ago. I always get feedback after the events, and the thing that kept coming up was, hey, this event's great. I love it. I would really like to know why. Why does this work? Why do we do these things? And so that kind of set into motion this year, writing a book, calling it Best Version Ever. Discover the magic of becoming extraordinary. And again, it's a personal development greatest hits. It's hey, I used to recommend 10 to 15 different books for different things, and what if I took everything that I know and everything that I've learned and put it into one book that I could recommend? And sometimes we forget that most people don't work on personal development, and most people don't make these habits or have this knowledge. So having one more book out there, there's a good chance that, everyone that buys mine has never heard of, our friend Hal or our friends John and Darren Hardy and Atomic Habits, right? Like most people just, my book will probably be their first experience with personal development. So
Here's your 10-part crib sheet for not reading these other 15 books, right?
Yeah.
It's the mixtape.
Yeah, I did the work for you.
Yeah, all you got to do is go do things.